using a 6-pound piece of equipment, which I have to tell you, I have thousands and thousands of pounds of equipment that I take around to festivals and events. This is so refreshing to have something so easy and so comfortable to work with. Okay, so let's just go ahead and go over the swing. You guys can stay seated if you're happy. If you want to come up and take a look at your swing with me, we're gonna go over the equipment, and then I'm gonna go around, and each person's gonna tell me a little bit about themselves and blah blah blah, and then we'll get in. Okay? Who here has never been in my swing? Okay, good. Over here, because Deborah's just got in yesterday. She just got in yesterday. Heather was last time. These two, they're already pros. And you've been in my swing.
A while ago.
Okay.
I think the Treasure Island Yoga Festival.
Yes, Omi's. Yeah, a while ago. Great.
Wow.
Yeah, so this swing's been around for a while, about 15, 20 years. It's fabricating from 2 points, no big deal, right? I love using the swing for many different purposes. I've used them for about 15 years. I know a lot of the different owners and creators of it. These swings are just exceptionally better, in my humble opinion. For one, they're super stretchy. So if you are up, I want you to just feel the fabric, because it's so different than a lot of the swings that are out there. And you can get a swing on Amazon for about $100, and I highly encourage people to do that if that's where they're at and they just want to hang upside down. Like, I want you guys to be comfortable encouraging people to do whatever it takes to get them to hang upside down or whatever to play. Okay, but when they're ready, this swing costs $4.99. And this swing is a 12-piece set. They're all locally made in San Francisco. So we have carabiners, 2 sets, so 4 carabiners, 2 hand holds, and 2 leg loops. Leg loops and swing also expand and are super stretchy. Okay, the hand holds are static for obvious reasons. So that means they don't stretch. And everything's super cushy, super squishy. But again, after you do this for 6 hours a day, you're going to be sore. You're going to be like, you know, a little owie in certain areas that are sensitive, like the underarms and the groin and hip flexors and things like that. So just know that that's part of the deal. I make clothes. It's not any big surprise, but I've been making clothes for 20 years. So I make little bubbies like this. And I have some extra if you guys really need. But it helps a lot. Don't mind all of the little tears and things like that. That's just for style points. But it helps a lot to have a little something extra under your arms, a little something extra behind your knees, that kind of thing. So short shorts, Bob usually does okay back there. But short shorts, you can get irritated in the legs the same you can get irritated in the underarms. So bring like a little extra thing, even a t-shirt or whatever. If you want to have a night of reconstruction, we can make clothes. I'm super into it. So just know that there's lots of different options, but it does help. Any questions about the swing and the material before we go on to having a conversation with one another and having an introduction? Anything anybody wants to add or feedback, suggest?
Washable.
Oh yes, thank you. So this material is like super thick sweatshirt material. If you treat the swing like your favorite sweatshirt, it'll last a long, long time. So my oldest swing, these swings are all brand new, straight from the factory, because I plan on selling them and not bringing my 80-pound bag back to San Francisco with me. So these are all brand new, so they're not as stretchy as one that's been used for a while. But if I wash mine every couple of days because I have high level of usage with clients and whatnot. But if it's for your own personal use, once a week, wash it, dry it. If you do not dry it, it's not going to shrink back up, kind of like a pair of jeans. So if you like it super stretchy, don't put it in the dryer. If you like it when it gets nice and tight and soft, you know, dry it and then maybe leave it out in the sun for just the last few minutes, because these parts, these nubs will stay wet longer. Obviously. Well, Hawaii, like everything's heavy and wet here. You probably noticed. It feels totally different than when like I'm in Tucson, something like that. But yeah, if you take really good care of this, this will last a long time. So it's all industrial strength sewing. Material is nice and thick, but if you do get in the swings with pocket knives or high heels or big rhinestone jewelry or something, it will get a little tear in it. You can get it repaired. It is repairable just like a sweatshirt. It just have to use stretchy thread. So if you do wind up having to get a little repair done, just remember that fact. My factory forgot to use stretchy thread last time. And that was the whole thing. So yeah, stretchy thread, stretchy fabric, right? Okay. And I have had the swings at, I don't know, 50 festivals over the last 5 years or something crazy. And they've had, you know, out in the sun and lots of use. And so sometimes they'll get like a little tear in it. It doesn't run or continue to tear or stretch or something. That's just been my experience so far. Just wanted to put that out there. So it's not a big deal. It just gets like a little hole in it too. That's a really great question. Thank you for reminding me. Since I make the swings, I also give studios the opportunity to have their own branding with the swings. So if the studio is super into it and they want to sell their own swings, I can get their own labels on it and everything like that too. So for some people, like when I was working with Yoga Tree, they were like super stoked on that idea because they can have their own brand of swings. And you know, I take care of all that stuff at studios, but it's just good to know. Anything else?
Do you sell the parts individually as well? Like if
Yes.
this part broke, for example, or ran off at a festival?
Right. The fairies like the handholds a lot, just so you know. So keep them hooked up. I do sell them individually. I have a whole aerial yoga play program that you guys will get in a PDF form to share with studios, and that'll give a breakdown of all the prices. You guys all get the wholesale pricing for doing the teacher training, and then you're all representatives and can be distributors of the swings if you want, which gives you a 10% commission on all the sales. So, you know, as well as teaching classes, you can really make some good money selling the swings if you want. Like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm like, hey, any cool things, do you want it? Like, it's like pretty much the extent of my marketing skills. But for some people, they love it, and that's what they want to do. So it can be a great opportunity. And so all of that will be given to you in a PDF, because I have a whole Google folder for aerial yoga playing. You guys will all be on there, and you can have access to all the different materials. So yeah, the individual parts can be sold. Like I said, I'm just like one person making cool shit, you know, and so we make 10 at a time at the factory in San Francisco, and it is growing and becoming larger, so we are making more. So doing individual parts is possible. I just don't necessarily encourage it, but of course we can definitely accommodate somebody or a situation if you wanted. Like some people like double leg loops. If a person wants an extra pair of leg loops, no problem. That kind of thing. Go ahead.
What is the wholesale?
Oh, okay, so the retail is $4.99, wholesale is $3.99. Okay, so if you send somebody to me, they buy a swing for $4.99, you guys get $50, right? If you guys decide, hey, I want to buy 4 swings at $3.99, I'm going to sell them, you can make $100. That's up to you, but that way I don't have to do any of that. I'm like, here you go. So there's a woman that just got trained with Bob Carroll, and she's all about it. And she's like, I have 10 people who want swings, and I'll just buy them from you, and I'll distribute them. And I'm like, perfect. You know, so that makes my life easier, and for those that are wanting to make those kind of investments. For studios, I require them at 10 purchase minimum to get the wholesale price, but because you guys are teachers and we're really working together and representatives, I'm much more lax about the numbers.
And what is their lifespan?
Well, I mean, it's just like a sweatshirt. Yeah, I have had ones for 5 years, and that's the first ones. The first batch that I made was 5 years ago when I was working with Fly Gym, which was a different company. The manufacturers I work with are even better. Although, you know, I do get them all tested with fire equipment companies for weight. So the swing itself has been tested to hold up to 500 pounds. We never put 2 people in the swing. We never test those limits. So thank you. This is a good prelude into the next little bit of information that's really helpful. And you guys can review all this because it's going to be like, what did she say again? So as you can see here, I normally hang the swings from eye hooks. The eye hooks are usually $200 to $250, depending on the quality of the eye hooks. So eye hooks, $5 each at Home Depot is all it costs to rig up the swings. That's $10. It's the most affordable rigging that you're ever going to find. Like I said, this is not circus art, so the insurance to become a teacher and to make sure that you're covered is suspension training. If you do aerial arts, like Amy was asking me, because she also does lyra and different things, it's like thousands of dollars. So the insurance that I get is $199 a year. It covers my yoga, it covers my massage, it covers my teaching, it covers the suspension training.
Where do you get it?
I will give you guys all that information. That'll be all in our Google Doc, I promise you. I'm really, really good about details. So if we forget anything, you can always just shoot me an email, but it's going to be there for everyone, just like our own personal folder. and it's really helpful. I just renewed my insurance and it didn't go up, it's still $199 and it covers everything. Super awesome. Not every company is that affordable. As you well know, it's like car insurance. This one happens to be really good. And you can call them and ask them, do you cover suspension training with your yoga and massage or whatever? And they'll say yes. If you say aerial arts, they're going to say no. Okay? So this is also why we're changing the name to AYRx, even though it's Aerial Yoga RX. AYRx is similar to like the TRX in its suspension training categorization. And that's a really important distinction. We are not doing any big vertical drops, even though we're using climbing carabiners. I like to use the black diamond carabiners and the fun colors and everything like that. The daisy chains are rated for 190 each. So together that's 400. So that's why we don't want to have two people in a swing, right? If you have somebody who's 250 pounds and they wind up holding from one side, the daisy chains will rip. I have them quadruple reinforced. These are the old ones. I have them quadruple reinforced, so these ones have the gold tacking and then black tacking underneath. Let's see, these are black on black, there are gold ones somewhere, red ones somewhere. But yes, everything has been improved. This is batch 24 of the Yoga Swings. So every time they just keep getting better. So if you have an older swing, you'll notice that it's different than the new swings, and it's just like a car. You know, you can't be like, oh, my 2014 car doesn't have that, I want to bring my car back. You know, it's like, well, that's what the car is, right? And we want the new model to be a little better, right? And it's like, oh, well, I wish I didn't buy it yet. I'm like, what? You know, just buy a new one, you know, just keep buying. No, I'm not a salesperson. So yeah, so everything, just to give you a little heads up, has gotten shorter and wider. That's how they've become more stable, more comfortable. As they stretch out, they're going to be perfect that way. The older ones, when they stretched out, they were like getting a little too long for an 8-foot ceiling. These ceilings are no problem. Usually what will happen in a shorter ceiling, Bob and I had this experience when we just got done doing a private training in Kihei, we can actually just hook the swing directly on the eye hook. So pretty much that's going to be the maximum for an 8-foot ceiling, and it works fine. It's just good for different heights, you know, for taller people. The swing works just as well. We just bring it up. For shorter people, bring it down. Really good questions, guys. So yeah, so maximum weight, I would say, is like 250, 300 for a person. If somebody's bigger than that, I would keep them on the ground. Does that make sense? So keeping them on the ground means either their feet or their hands or something is touching. Because if they did like a big jump or something, then one of the daisy chains might give out. But the swing itself can hold a lot more weight than that. The leg loops are also weighted for 190. I just made them the same as the daisy chains because that just makes sense, right? Eye hooks 200. So we want to make sure that we don't max it out, and that, you know, the average person has plenty of room for play. Maximum weight wise. And every ceiling, just questions that are on my website. I have a whole Q&A section. Every ceiling is weighted for 175 pounds per square inch. Every ceiling. Doesn't matter if you live in Hawaii or if you live in Alaska. These are just basic, like, low minimum building codes. I work with a lot of different contractors, so everyone says like, oh, I don't know where I'm going to hang it. My ceiling's old. You know, my house is old. To be honest with you, older houses are built way more sound and structurally strong than new houses. I've worked with I've rigged up probably like 300 different studios, houses, swings. It's been crazy to go through that experience. So supportive beams, so that means when we use an eye hook and it's 2 inches deep, that's 350 pounds. You see what I mean? Okay, so 175 pounds per square inch. And we have a 2-point system. We do not have a single-point system, which is a totally different weight requirement. Okay, so we're distributing the weight over 2.5 to 3 feet, which is what I recommend for the eye hooks, 2.5 to 3 feet spacing. If you're in doubt, just come out of the swing, raise your arms up in a relaxed to be position, and that's how wide you want it to be. And then every body will fit. So 2 is too narrow, 4 is too wide, right? So 2.5 to 3 feet. This is all in the program. This is all written down. If you guys are like, what did she say again? Fantastic. So that was my long introduction.